Hey guys, we are finally back from our baby moon in Hawaii. We had an incredible time. Oh my gosh, I can't even begin to tell you about it. It was just the best time ever, and I'm happy to be home. I'm happy to be back with Luna, and today we are doing part 2 of my second trimester recap. So part 1 went out earlier this week. I talked about all my weird, unexpected symptoms. I talked about my favorite products, just everything I went through, hard times, favorite times, everything, and the video got really long, so I'm splitting it into 2 parts. So definitely go and check out part 1 if you didn't see that, but today is part 2 and I'm answering your questions that you guys sent in on Instagram. You sent so many questions about anything and everything, really specific stuff about my pregnancy, the high risk stuff, you know, dealing with struggles, weight gain, body image, thoughts about gender and embryos. There's a little bit of ranting and raving involved. That's just been part of pregnancy for me so far. I can get very passionate at times, but I'm sure you guys will understand. I also show you my bump at the end of the video, end of second trimester, beginning of third trimester. I'm out of breath, I better go. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Anyway, let's get to your questions because there were a million of them and I feel like I've already been talking for 100 years at this point. All right, so the first question is, do you worry about diastasis recti? I'm terrified of this happening. Okay, I'm actually kind of relieved to hear that someone else is terrified of it because it's absolutely one of the things that I was most afraid of. I mean, obviously there are a million things to be worried about or afraid of in pregnancy, and this is definitely something that is pretty common, and also from what I've learned, kind of unavoidable, or at least, like, you know, I asked all of my doctors, is there anything that I can do to prevent it? And I've looked up a bunch of stuff online, and you find like conflicting information about it. If you don't know what it is, well, let me start there. It's basically when your ab muscles, like imagine this is my 6-pack that I don't have. When you're pregnant, obviously your ab muscles have to stretch a lot to accommodate for the baby, and they can spread apart over time. And it's something that poses an issue after you have the baby. And a lot of people say it goes back to normal on its own. There's also like physical therapy and different exercises and stuff, but also it can sometimes need surgery to fix it. And my mom had it and she had a hard time with it. And I think that's one of the reasons why going into pregnancy, I was like very aware of it and like, is there anything I can do? Ultimately, when I talk to my doctors about it, they're like, there's kind of nothing you can do. Like, don't gain like 1,000 pounds. But basically, just to answer the question, yes, I have worried about it. Okay, next question. Do you have a name picked out? Are you gonna share before she's here? No, we do not have a name picked out. I've had lists of names that I like for babies, boys and girls, you know, since I was a kid. Not the same list, but I'm always like collecting names that I like and, you know, thinking about that. And we have kind of narrowed down the list a little bit, but it's still very much up in the air. We've kind of thrown around the idea of waiting until she's here, meeting her, seeing what that's like before we decide on the name for sure. But then at the same time, I would really like to know the name. I don't know how it's gonna go, but no, at this moment, we do not have a name picked out, set in stone. And honestly, even if we did, I would not share it before she's here. Okay, next up, have you and Grant been taking any classes like sleep training, car seat, etc.? It's funny you asked that because last night was the very first class and it was Grant's class. It was like the new dad's like tool class and it was 2 hours long. It was just like a Zoom call and he thought it was really beneficial. And then going forward from here in the third trimester, we have a couple more classes that are through the hospital. We got a lot to learn. Okay, what is your favorite part of pregnancy so far? Definitely feeling the baby's movements. That's like an everyday highlight of my life. But then also getting to see the 3D images of the baby, that was huge for me. It's hard to choose like a favorite part. I've really been having a good time lately. I've really been loving it. Okay, here's one that's kind of specific to our situation. How did you manage to survive the couple of risky weeks, the potential heart problems? So I've been talking about this in my vlogs along the way, so If you've been watching those, you know a lot about it. I feel like I did better than survive. You know, I was really, really scared and really worried right at the beginning, but I just had to let it go. I mean, you can't live in fear, you know? I had to choose to enjoy that risky period. And I know not everyone can just choose that, but it was just like, I can't wake up crying every day, you know? Like that's not how I'm gonna live my life. So I just had to make the choice that I was gonna treasure that time, even though it was like the high risk period and I was having to go to all these appointments. You know, I just had to appreciate what I had in that moment, you know, because something can go wrong no matter what your situation is. And I just basically had to make the choice. And I feel, looking back, that I did better than just survive. You know, here's a question. Why is your pregnancy high risk? Does your small belly have to do with it? So I said already that my pregnancy is considered high risk because I did IVF and I also have an autoimmune disorder. But no, my small belly doesn't have anything to do with it. And I know people don't like to hear that you shouldn't say something, but that's definitely something that you should not say to a pregnant woman. I don't think that anyone should make comments on a small belly or a big belly and say like, oh, are you sure you only got one in there? Are you sure it's not twins? Or like, oh, are you due tomorrow? Or you're commenting on someone's body, you're commenting on someone's baby. It's just not nice. It's just very impolite. And this is a really happy moment in a woman's life. It's also a very hard moment and an emotional moment, a hormonal moment. And so it's just best to be on the sensitive side and on the kind side. And I don't know if this person would even care hearing that, but if anybody needed to hear that today, that's not the kind of thing that you say to somebody. And my belly is growing and the baby is absolutely growing, and I've gotten to see that every single week. She's gonna be a big baby. We are both giant people and we're about to have a big baby and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, here's one that I brought some stuff to show you for. Favorite maternity clothes. So number one, the dress that I'm wearing right now. I actually have 4 of these dresses in 4 different colors at this point. I have this lavender, I have this kind of like coppery brown color, which I love. I have a light green one, and I also have like a cream color one. And I've showed you these several times. They are not maternity dresses, so if you are not pregnant, if you don't have a bump, or if you have a long way until your bump comes in, these dresses would totally work for you. I love these ties at the bottom. I think it makes them so cute because they are just like very simple little tank dresses. But these are actual real drawstrings. So you can let it out to make the dress longer, or you can pull them tighter to make the dress a little shorter. I just think they're so cute and they're super comfy, really stretchy. That's why I bought 4 of them, and they're also really affordable. I think they're about like $30, and they come in a ton of colors. I really had to hold myself back, but I love these dresses so much. Okay, next up, I have a lot of favorites. It's really been a struggle to find clothes, but at the same time, I feel like I found stuff that I really love and I feel comfortable in, I feel cute in. And one of those things are these overalls. These are from Target. They come in a few different colors, but I love this one especially. It's kind of like a pinky purple acid wash, and they are overalls, and I just got them in a really big size to fit the bump because these are not maternity overalls. It fulfilled my dream of being a lady in some overalls, painting the nursery. I made it happen, and I love these so much. They're not stiff at all. They're not super stretchy, but they're just like a really soft denim, and they're roomy, and I feel like they're gonna fit me for a while. They might not fit me, you know, through the rest of my pregnancy, but I do think they're gonna fit me for a while. And affordable, they come in different colors. Absolutely recommend these. And then the last thing I'm gonna show you is actually all of these are non-maternity, but you guys have seen this dress a million times, and I have it in a couple different colors. The original daytime nightgown. It's just such a super comfy dress. You can wear it off the shoulder or up. I love a square neckline like this. And it's just a super, super flowy dress. You don't have to wear a bra with it. It's got these cute little puff sleeves. It's just like super feminine, super comfy. You could absolutely take a nap in this dress, and it's long. It allows for a lot of growth. I got these dresses long before I got pregnant, and I've still been wearing them through the whole pregnancy, and I think I'll still be able to wear them through the end of the pregnancy, you know, depending on how big I get. But those are just a few favorites. I have a lot of favorites. I always share them in my vlogs. I share my outfits, and I actually just did a maternity haul last week. So check that out. I'll put the link in the description. All right, next up, are your IVF injection sites better now? So the actual IVF injection sites, like on my belly where I was getting the stimulation shots, those are all totally 100% better at this point. But where I was getting the progesterone shots on my hips and on my lower back, no, still not better. I still have big areas on both hips that are numb and painful, like just at the touch, or like just if I'm taking off my leggings and putting them back on to like go to the bathroom or whatever, it hurts every single time. And honestly, I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. I don't know if it's like nerve damage or what, but those progesterone shots are not a game. They are awful, and they're absolutely the worst part of IVF. Well, I can't even really say that. There are a lot of really bad parts of IVF, but that's definitely been the longest lasting side effect, I guess. And so in a way I'm better, in a way I'm not, but I don't think that's everyone's experience. So I don't want to scare you guys. Okay, here is a really easy one, and I feel like it's something a lot of people talk about all the time, and it just hasn't been my experience. But do you miss drinking alcohol? And I kind of just don't. I definitely didn't feel up to drinking at all in the first trimester. I didn't desire it at all because I just felt crummy and I was tired. But in the second trimester, I guess like when we go and like have Mexican food or something, I'm like, oh, it'd be nice to like have a margarita. But I've never felt that enough to like order a virgin margarita or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't really miss it, which is interesting. All right, so here is an interesting question. I'll just say that. How did Grant feel about picking a girl embryo? So if you haven't been following along with all of my videos, I did a whole big video where I talked about how we went through IVF and we did genetic testing, and you know, we had a lot of information to go off of when we were picking which embryo we would do our first transfer with. And we knew the genders of the embryos. And so obviously we could have picked based on gender, but we picked based on the test results, and we went with the embryo that had the least likely chance of miscarrying, because that's what a lot of those tests are meant for. It's to show you, you know, which embryo has the best chance at becoming a baby, you know. And we'd been through a lot, and the most important thing at that point is obviously not the gender of the baby, it is the health of the baby. And a question like this, like obviously I can't assume where you're coming from, but being pregnant and hearing from a lot of different people around us and, you know, online that are pregnant or having babies, and finding out genders, you know, where, whatever situation they're coming from, where maybe they didn't have any trouble getting pregnant or they did IVF or whatever, everyone's situation is different. But is it just me? But I am so irritated by fathers that don't want girl babies. Like, how is that okay? Just to answer the question, I'm getting ahead of myself. How did Grant feel about it? He felt good about it. I mean, obviously he felt good about it. He's not a 5-year-old. I feel like any man that is throwing a fit because they're having a girl is so horrifically immature that they probably should not have a child. Like when I see a reaction like that, or I hear from somebody that's just like, I was really sad that we're having a girl, it's like, oh, I don't think you're ready to be a dad. Like, is your little girl gonna be okay? I just feel so sad for that situation. And I feel so grateful and so lucky and so thankful that that is not my situation, not even a little bit. I mean, of course, Grant's a guy, like all guys, you know, see themselves having sons. He grew up with a brother, you know, like it's just, I think that is natural, but he's not the kind of guy that would be like, I really want a boy, or like kind of try to guide our decision on picking an embryo based on gender. I'm just grateful every single day that I married a grown man that isn't gonna pout about having a girl because, like, I don't know what, you're not like birthing a new best friend or something. Like, I don't think that this person was assuming that Grant had any, you know, bad feelings about it. Does it not blow anyone else's mind that somehow it's like a sort of like normal reaction for a man to just be like pouty about having a girl? It truly disgusts me, you know, like yikes. We'll just leave it at that. It's a huge yikes for me. Let's move on to something else. Any giving birth nerves. It's getting closer, and I know it's a big fear for a lot of moms. Absolutely. Absolutely nervous about it. But what I've heard from everyone is basically there's just kind of like a scale that tips. It's like you're really nervous about it all the way up into a point where you're just like, I'm ready to have this kid. And that completely weighs you over to like all the fears that I had before. Yes, they're still there, but much more than those fears, I just want to have this kid, and maybe I'm so uncomfortable, baby's so big, or I've been pregnant so long, or whatever the feelings are that come up in your third trimester. It just outweighs all the fears, and I'm trusting the process. I'm sure that will also happen for me. You know, seeing my sister go through all of this, you know, within the last month, she went through a lot. It was a hard birth. It was scary. And, you know, I've listened to a ton of birth stories on YouTube mainly, and it's hard. Like, even if it's easy, it's hard. And that's the road that's in front of me. It's gonna happen. And it's scary. I am nervous about it, but it's not something that like keeps me up at night. You know what I mean? It's just what we're doing. Body image, good/bad. Is it what you expected? Honestly, I expected to feel, I guess, more insecurities about body changes along the way. Obviously, I'd never been through it before. And I've also never been through huge body changes or weight changes or whatever in my adult life. And I didn't know what it was gonna be like. But there was part of me that's like, how am I gonna feel when I suddenly gain a whole bunch of weight at once? And I've never been through that before. And I think that I've kind of like surprised myself. I've been happy. You know, I've been really enjoying, especially this second trimester, having more energy and not feeling sick all the time. I've been able to appreciate it, and I feel pretty cute, at least right now. Like, I know there is a point where you feel very much like not cute when your belly is really big and you're just generally uncomfortable. But from where I am right now, I'm happy. I feel like amazed by what my body is doing. It's like I'm almost like watching it from the outside, like, what is this? Like, who are you? Like, suddenly, like, I turn to the side. I always like look in the morning. I'm like, what's the bump doing? How are we going? Like, what's that belly button doing? And then like at night when I'm getting undressed and stuff, it's just like interesting to me more than anything. And I don't feel sad about it. I don't feel negative about it at all. But at the same time, I don't want to like spin it as like if you feel negatively about it, that's bad in some way. I don't want to put that on anyone. And I feel like that's a really toxic kind of attitude to have about it. I feel like, hey, it's your body and it's going through changes. And if that's hard, then it's hard. Feel the way that you feel, you know? But I will say so far, I felt good and I've been feeling cute, you know, like buying clothes and just being excited and happy and like embracing the changes, you know? Okay, and kind of going along with that one, I kind of debated about including this or not, and it is about weight. So if that makes you uncomfortable and you don't want to hear about that or talk about that, just skip forward. But she asked, weight gain up to now, kind of personal, but curious from another pregnant mama. So This is something that is different for everyone, and they will tell you like what's normal online. I don't know, I feel like there is no normal. Like I've gotten comments from some people that are like, I've only gained 8 pounds, but my belly's bigger than yours. Like, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't even know how to like interact in those moments because I don't know. I just feel like everybody is so different, and the way your belly grows is so different for everyone. I'm a really tall person. This is a first pregnancy. Like, it's just a mystery to me. And I know I have a lot of growing to do, but I definitely gained a lot of weight right off the bat. Like, I feel like I gained like the first 10 pounds like that. It was crazy in the first trimester, where sometimes you'll hear like, oh, in the first trimester, you actually lose weight because you're so sick throwing up all the time. That wasn't my experience. I felt really sick all the time, but I wasn't throwing up, and I was gaining weight because I was eating a lot, because that was the only thing that would make me feel less sick. And I think at this point, or by the last like doctor's appointment or whatever, I've gained like about 22 pounds. And I don't know, online they say like 25 pounds, like 35 pounds, or somewhere around there, maybe 40 pounds, I can't remember. But so far, 22 pounds. I've definitely gained weight, and not all in my belly. You know, the baby is only less than 3 pounds. So I've definitely noticed changes. I immediately noticed like extra weight like on my thighs and in my hips. But like I said, I've been feeling cute. I've been feeling good, and I'm just happy to be here. You know, like I don't know. I've embraced the changes, and I felt glad that I've been able to do that. You know what I mean? I reject any outside pressure or any unnecessary pressure, you know, like going through this whole process, going through IVF, all of that stuff. It's all so hard. It's all so complicated, and there's so much to learn, and there's so much to go through, and there's so many feelings and so many changes. And I feel like a lot of pressure can come from within just naturally, like things that are just like unexplainable. Like why am I like fixated on like sleep position or whatever? And I've just realized like any unnecessary pressure coming from anywhere, I don't need that. Like, that's extra pressure. It's not necessary. I reject any extra pressure. And that is how I'm going through the rest of this pregnancy, and it's how I intend to go into motherhood, because I feel like there's so much pressure put on moms, put on brand new moms that have never done it before. And there's so many like condescending people, like especially online and stuff. It's just, there's so much pressure that doesn't need to be there. This is a positive experience. It's also a hard experience. It's also something that you're obviously doing your best you can do at it. Like right now at pregnancy, I'm doing the best I can do. I'm learning everything I can learn, making all the choices that I think are best. And then when there's like outside pressure to do something different, it's just like, don't you realize I'm doing my best? You know? Last question, easy question. What sunscreen are you using during pregnancy? So the sunscreen I've been using on my face every day is this one. It's the Cetaphil Sheer Mineral Face Liquid Sunscreen. It's SPF 50. And it is a mineral face sunscreen. It's really thin, and I've been liking it. I have oily skin, so I can't do a super greasy sunscreen, and I wanted a mineral sunscreen to try to avoid the ingredients that you want to avoid, especially in pregnancy. And this one's been working out for me. So I will link this one as well as everything else I've talked about in the description down below. All right, I almost forgot to show you my bump. It would have been a tragedy if I forgot. But here we are at the end of the second trimester, beginning of the third trimester. This dress is actually perfect to show you. It's about 4 o'clock right now, so this is like my mid-size bump of the day. I feel like it's crazy how much the bump grows through the day. In the morning, it's at the smallest, and then by the evening, it is so much bigger. So this is my like midday, late afternoon bump. Looking good, growing. I love it. It is so cute to me, and it's just so exciting to watch it change. I know we've got a lot of growing to do. I'm trying to take pictures all along the way so I can remember every moment. I feel like you can see, especially with this dress, you can see like the shadow under the bump from the back. Can't really see anything. But then once I turn to the side, bam, we're here. I feel like this video has probably been 100 years long. I'm sorry, but thank you if you stuck it out with me all the way to the end. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. If you have subscribed, thank you so much. You are my people and I love you. If you want to find me on social media, it's LeighAnnSays everywhere. I'd love to talk to you over there. And as always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone. Not me, already out of breath. It's all too much. It is all too much. Take off my little belly band. Everything's gotten real cute around here lately.